he converts to Catholicism to marry a Catholic, but his heart has truly changed, it appears. Now, this becomes autobiographical in some of these Catholic books. The heart of the matter uh, is along these lines, and the end of the affair is along these lines. But what happens, I think, is that there's some world events really draw him in. So first he goes to Mexico. He's writing these travel books, and he gets in southern Mexico and he learns about the persecution of the priests there. In the 1920s, over 4,000 priests were killed in Mexico, and the church there was an atheist dictator on the throne, and this really impacts him in regard to what's going to have a lasting value. What is indestructible? Will this dictator be the one who lasts, or will the church be the one that lasts? And so that really, in that sense, he is inspiring. But here's what's maddening to the Orthodox Catholics. So, in one sense, he creates this tension between the city of God and the city of man, and it's Augustinian. But on the other hand, he believes in regard to the fiction that what is of interest to him is the mixed human heart. So he's always thinking about the dark side, or the edges between loyalty and disloyalty, between fidelity and infidelity. And he's also carrying with him an incredibly accurate notion of the church, the Roman Catholic Church, that is,
Mm-hmm.
in that the morality of the office does not impact the sacrament. And so he makes his Catholics the worst moral people you would
Yeah.
ever find.
Right.
So his very first book, that really the Catholic novel, Brighton Rock, which is a famous book, famous movie about it, he makes the protagonist a 17-year-old murderer, Pinky, gangster, who is utterly obsessed about Catholicism, or at least he's a catechized youth who
Yeah.
believes in repentance and hell.
Right.
and, and so this just infuriates the Catholics. It's like, he's committing all these mortal sins, and you're giving him a pass, and you're saving him at the end of the book. And so he takes it one step further in the power and the glory, and he makes this this moral, figure who's very contra what Catholicism believes about sin, the whiskey priest. So the whiskey priest is father's an illegitimate child. The whiskey priest basically does everything that would violate good Catholicism, but he has this belief that there's no salvation outside of the church, and he's willing to die for it, even though he's a coward, as he goes about trying to do that. And so what happens is, if this is the point where the Holy Office condemns the power and the glory. So back then in the 1940s, you had the Holy See, the Holy Office. There would be a prohibited list, and they put this book on the prohibited list because he basically in the book just tramples upon Catholic morality. And he's basically saying, this mortal sin stuff, I don't believe one bit in it, but I do believe that salvation is only found in the church. And so that becomes a great tension with Greene's Catholic novels, with the magisterium. By the time he gets to the heart of the matter, it becomes even worse, because Greene doubles down. And he has the main character be a practicing Catholic who in the end commits suicide. And so again, and this is where George Orwell really took Greene to task. And he said, look, if you're saying all these things about the church, then why are you not having any of your characters actually be affected by grace and actually repenting and living like they actually believe there's a heaven and a hell, which is an incredible exchange. Orwell published that in the New Yorker in 1948. And so it's just, so what the Catholic Church is struggling with is he's the most famous Catholic author in the world, much less England.
He becomes the
And here he
spokesperson
is,
by default.
and here he is trampling upon these matters, but at the same time, what he is doing, and this is what I found so fascinating 25 years ago at Duquesne University, almost every one of his themes, in a certain respects, anticipates the change from Vatican I to Vatican II. He is ingenious in getting at, this is how Catholicism needs to change, because it's not getting to the true faith as it should, but yet there's no other hope for the world except in this faith.